The reason they don't respect you is because you talk too much. Think about that. Every time you opened up, every time you shared, every time you let someone in, you handed them the blueprint to control you. They didn't need to outsmart you. They just needed you to confess. And you did. Again and again. Because you thought being honest made you trustworthy. You thought being real made you relatable. You thought transparency meant strength. It doesn't. It means exposure. And exposure means weakness. You gave them your plans and they moved faster than you. You gave them your fears and they used them as threats. You gave them your past and they chained you to it. They didn't admire your vulnerability. They weaponized it. Niccolo Machiavelli didn't just teach power, he mastered the psychology of predators. And he would have told you this. Never let them know what breaks you. Never let them know what drives you. Never let them know anything. Because the moment they know, they own. And now you're wondering why people walk over your boundaries, why they talk behind your back, why your name feels small in rooms where you thought you had respect. It's because you gave them too much access. And once you give it, you never get it back. From this moment forward, that ends. This video is not about healing. This is not therapy. This is mental warfare. This is where you rebuild your power from silence. And if you're serious about becoming the kind of man they can't read, can't predict, can't manipulate, stay until the end. Because we're going to break down 10 things you should never reveal to anyone if you ever want to be respected, feared, and untouchable again. The fastest way to lose control is to tell them what you're about to do. Most people ruin their own power long before the world ever gets the chance because they narrate their next move like it's a podcast. They announce their goals. They broadcast their strategy. They leak their intentions hoping it'll earn support or validation. But all it earns is enemies with time to react. The moment you speak your move into existence, you create resistance that didn't even exist before. People don't sabotage what they don't see coming, but they will sabotage what you show them. You thought telling people your plans would motivate you, but in reality it tricks your brain into thinking you've already achieved something. And when your mind feels rewarded, you lose urgency, you lose energy, you lose execution. You thought talking about the future made you seem confident. No, it makes you predictable. And predictable men are easy to block. Niccolo Machiavelli knew better. He warned the lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must be both. You want to be both, then shut your mouth. Move like a fox, quiet, observant, untraceable. Smile in public. Plan in shadows. Act in silence. Because the moment they hear your next move, they can mock it, mirror it, leak it, or pretend to support it. Just long enough to feed it to someone who will destroy it. And once that plan is compromised, so are you. The man who says I'm building something big rarely builds anything at all. The one who disappears and returns as something big, that's the man people remember. Don't build an audience. Build an empire. And empires are not constructed through speeches and tweets. They're built behind locked doors, brick by brick, in silence. Let them wonder what you're working on. Let them assume you've stalled. Let them whisper, doubt, dismiss. And when you return, let your success be so undeniable it doesn't need a single word. You're not obligated to update anyone. Your next move is not a group project. It's a sacred operation. Guard it like your life depends on it, because in this game it does. From now on, say nothing. Plan privately, and let them choke on your silence. The moment they know where you bleed, they never stop cutting. That's the truth no one wants to admit. You think people respect your vulnerability. You think opening up makes you more human. It makes you a target. Not today, not always, but eventually. When the pressure's on, when stakes shift, when fear hits, that's when your weaknesses turn into weapons and you handed them over willingly. You told them about your insecurities. You told them what breaks you, what keeps you up at night, what triggers you. And you thought that honesty built connection. But what it really built was leverage. You gave them the playbook, and now you're wondering why they're calling all the shots. Even your closest friends can become strangers with memories sharp enough to cut through bone. Here's the part no one likes to hear. Weakness doesn't stay sacred. it gets stored, and it gets sold when power shifts. That boss who said you can trust me, now he knows exactly where to squeeze when he wants compliance. That partner who once said, I love every part of you, now she reminds you of your scars when she wants control. That friend who said I got your back, he's repeating your secrets when you're not in the room because it makes him look powerful. Niccolo Machiavelli warned us, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. And that's how it should stay. You think you're building closeness, but you're just giving them the map to dismantle you brick by emotional brick. You want to be strong. Stop leaking. Fix your flaws in private. Battle your demons behind closed doors. Don't turn pain into performance. Don't post your breakdowns for sympathy likes. Real power is quiet. It sharpens itself in silence. The strongest men bleed behind the curtain and walk out smiling like kings. From this point on, let your strength be public, but your struggle sacred. You don't owe anyone access to your pain, because once they see you break, they never see you the same again. They won't protect it. They'll remember it. And when they need to win, they'll use it. Your past is not forgiven. It's just waiting to be used. You think the world gives you credit for overcoming failure? No. They don't remember the climb. They remember the fall. And the higher you rise, the more valuable your history becomes to the people waiting for you to trip again. You told them you used to be broke, that you made bad decisions, that you let people down, that you lost yourself for a while. You thought that was strength. You thought sharing that story made you real, but it only made you vulnerable. Because now they know exactly where you've already fallen and where you might fall again. They'll say it's safe to share. They'll say that was the old you, but they never forget. Not when it matters, not when tension hits. That's when they reach for the record, your record. And they don't bring it up with empathy. They bring it up to break you. It doesn't matter if you've changed. It doesn't matter if you've conquered it. The world remembers weakness far louder than it sees strength. That one story about the time you lost everything. That's the story they'll whisper when you enter the room. That one confession you thought was private. It's already been passed around like gossip currency, because your mistakes in the wrong hands are weapons. Niccolo Machiavelli said it best. Men judge more by the eyes than by the intelligence, because everyone can see, but few can understand. That means when they see your failure, they stop trying to understand your victory. You can build a mansion with your bare hands, but if they know you once lived in a ditch, they'll keep picturing the dirt. So stop dragging your old scars into new rooms. Don't explain what you used to be. Don't justify what you've already buried. That version of you no longer exists, and if you want power, you better start acting like it never did. You're not obligated to confess. You're not required to revisit that pain. The lessons belong to you. The fire you walked through. That's your secret forge. Let them judge the man standing in front of them, not the man who crawled to become him. Because in this world, what they don't know, they can't use. The moment they know what you can't afford to lose, they stop respecting you and start controlling you. You think love protects you. You think loyalty makes you safe. No, it makes you visible. And visibility is liability. You told her you couldn't live without her. Now she withholds affection when you stop complying. You told your boss you can't afford to lose the job. Now he gives you deadlines no one else gets. You told your so-called friends you're terrified of being alone, and now they play hot and cold just to keep you chasing. What you fear becomes your leash, and you put your own neck in it. The people around you don't test your strengths, they test your boundaries, and the fastest way to know where those boundaries are, let you talk long enough. You'll give them the map, you'll hand over the code. You'll say things like, I just can't lose this, or if that ever happened, I'd fall apart. And in that moment, you are no longer dangerous. You are manageable. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this cold truth. It is better to be feared than loved if one cannot be both. Not because fear is cruel, but because fear is controlled. Love makes people entitled to you. Fear makes them careful with you. When they fear losing you, you hold power. When you fear losing them, you become their puppet. You thought being emotionally open would bring you closer, and maybe for a moment it did, but long term, it made you easy to manipulate. Because people don't need to harm you directly. They just need to threaten what you love, and you'll do the damage to yourself. So here's your law. Love with strength. Never with weakness. Care deeply, but hold loosely. Never show them what breaks you. Never confess what keeps you up at night. Never reveal what makes your hands shake. Because once they know it, they will touch it. Not all at once. Not always with malice. But one day when power shifts, they'll remember exactly where to squeeze. From now on, you walk like a man who can lose everything and not blink. That's psychological dominance, not by threat, not by noise, but by the quiet terror that nothing owns you, nothing controls you, nothing scares you. And when they realize they can't use your fear, they'll start fearing you. The most dangerous man in any room is the one who says nothing. He's not loud. He's not arguing. He's not trying to be noticed. He's just watching, and you don't even know it. While everyone else is performing, projecting, proving something, he's gathering data like a surgeon before the cut. Most people can't help but speak when they sense deception. They interrupt lies. They react to disrespect. They call out manipulation the moment they detect it. And that's exactly when the mask gets stronger. Because once they know you're watching, they start hiding. They start shifting. They get smarter. And you lose your edge. You thought you were being bold, speaking up, defending truth. But you were just warning them that you're aware, and now they'll never slip again. You burned your own advantage. Machiavelli never made that mistake. He watched. He studied. He waited. He let them reveal everything while revealing nothing. Because power doesn't belong to the loudest voice in the room. It belongs to the man no one suspects until it's too late. The ghost in the corner. The shadow in the background. The one who lets them lie. Because he's recording. Who nods while they fake loyalty? Because he's building leverage. They think you're naive. They think you didn't catch it. That's good. Let them believe it. Here's the brutal truth. People expose themselves constantly. Through timing, tone, silences, contradictions. But if you interrupt them too soon, you kill the evidence. Let them keep talking. Let them overshare. Let them think you're not a threat. You're not here to confront. You're here to collect. From now on, you don't flinch when you hear betrayal. You don't correct the fake smile. You don't react when they forget your name, your value, your presence. You act unaware so they get comfortable. And when they're comfortable, they get careless. That's when the truth walks out on its own. You want long-term power? Then move like a ghost in their blind spot. Become the man they forgot was dangerous until it's too late. Because the moment you reveal you're watching, you stop being feared. You start being managed. So you say nothing. You observe everything. You record remember store. And when the time comes, you strike with precision they never saw coming. Not out of revenge. Out of design. They played checkers. You were building the board. The easiest way to make someone look weak is to mention their bloodline. It sounds cruel, right? But that's how the world works. You say your father was never around. They don't see your pain. They see a hole to dig deeper into. You say your mother was toxic. They don't see trauma. They see damage, and damaged people don't get trusted with power. You thought being honest about your roots would earn you empathy. You thought sharing your upbringing would show how far you've come. But no one's listening to honor your journey. They're listening to catalog your chaos. Because in the game of perception, you're not seen for who you are. You're defined by where you come from. Even if they never say it out loud, once they hear about your dysfunctional family, the way they see you changes forever. Now you're unstable. Now you're baggage. Now you're the guy with issues. And worst of all, they'll smile while doing it, and whisper when you're gone. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this brutally well. It is not titles that honor men, but men that honor titles. And when you publicly dishonor the title of family, even if you have every right to, it stains how others view your foundation. Your home stops being a mystery and starts being a narrative. Their narrative. One you can't control. You want respect. then stop turning your family wounds into conversation pieces. Don't post about them. Don't joke about them. Don't explain them to people who haven't earned your blood, because the more they know about what shaped you, the easier it is to unshape you. Your family problems aren't entertainment. They aren't marketing. They aren't bonding material. They're sacred scars, and sacred things don't belong in public hands. You want to heal. Build it quietly. You want to rise, then protect the very roots they'll try to pull when you get too high. From this point forward, your home becomes off limits. Your family becomes off record. Let them wonder. Let them assume. Let them invent stories to feel comfortable. But never again give them the script to destroy you. Because when wolves smell blood, they don't strike you first. They go for the weakest link. The second they know your income, they stop seeing you as a person and start treating you like a calculation. You walk into a room and people don't ask how much you make, they guess. And their guess determines how they treat you. But the moment you confirm it, you lose control of that perception forever. Tell them you're broke and they'll treat you like a liability. Suddenly, every interaction becomes transactional. Every conversation feels like a subtle charity. They look at you like you're desperate, dependent, and easily moved by crumbs. You're no longer seen as a peer. You're seen as a burden. Even if you never asked for anything. But tell them you're wealthy. It gets worse. Now they treat you like a target, a resource, a stepping stone. Your success becomes public property. They expect favors, handouts, opportunities. Every compliment becomes a veiled request. Every connection hides a silent invoice. And every new friendship comes with a price tag. Niccolo Machiavelli would have never revealed his wealth, not out of shame, but out of strategy. Because money isn't just currency, it's leverage. And when people can calculate your wallet, they start calculating how to use you, or worse, how to destroy you. Men are ruled by two impulses, love and fear. Money distorts both. If they love you for your wealth, it's rented love, not real. If they fear you because of it, they'll plot behind closed doors to remove your advantage. They won't challenge you directly. They'll whisper, sabotage, isolate. All in the name of leveling the field. That's why the most powerful people keep their financial status unreadable. You don't need to prove you're rich. You don't need to explain why you're broke. Let them guess. Let them assume. Let them project. Because in ambiguity there is power. Mystery protects. Transparency exposes. And exposure attracts leeches, traps, and envy. You don't owe anyone access to your finances. Not your friends. Not your colleagues. Not even your partner until they've earned that level of closeness. Because when they know your bottom line, they start designing your cage. From this moment forward, you hold your wallet like a weapon. Silent, concealed, always present but never discussed. You don't brag, you don't confess, you don't apologize. Whether you're building wealth or rebuilding from nothing, do it in silence. Let them think you're broke. Let them think you're loaded. Let them wonder. Because when they can't put a price on you, they can't control you. If they know how you'll leave, they'll make sure you never do. That's the cruel truth no one teaches you. You think telling them you need space will earn you respect, that announcing your exit will inspire change. But in reality, you've just triggered their control mechanisms. The moment people sense they're losing access to you, they don't let go. They tighten the leash. They start managing gaslighting, guilt-tripping, promising panicking. They don't want you gone. They want you stuck. They want you within reach. And if you tell them how you're planning to leave, they'll block every door before you get there. You thought communication was mature, that warning them was respectful. But Machiavelli would disagree. It is better to act and repent than not to act and regret. And he wouldn't speak of his plan until it was already done. Not because he feared backlash, but because he understood the power of invisibility. You don't announce exits in hostile environments. You execute them. Quietly, cleanly, without ceremony. You vanish like smoke. No notes. No explanations, no emotional previews, just absence. Because when they go looking for you, it's already too late. Here's what they don't tell you. The moment you say, "I'm thinking of leaving," the manipulation begins. You'll hear you're overreacting. Or, "Let's talk," or worse, they'll suddenly become everything you wanted, just long enough to reset your loyalty. And once you stay, the mask drops. And now you're deeper in than ever before. Controlled disappearance is power. You don't slam doors. You lock them behind you. You don't run. You rise and remove yourself without making a sound. And that silence, it terrifies them. Because people don't fear confrontation, they fear confusion. They fear the unknown. From this point forward, you build quiet exits into everything: relationships, jobs, partnerships, deals. No one knows how you leave. They just wake up and you're gone. No smoke, no fire, just absence that echoes. Because when they can't predict your departure, they'll never feel secure abusing your presence. You don't owe them closure. You owe yourself freedom. The moment they discover what makes you strong, they'll find a way to starve it. That's not paranoia. That's human nature. People don't always attack you head on. They chip away at what fuels you until your fire burns out. Maybe it's your solitude, your routine, your faith, your discipline, your morning ritual, your mental clarity, your gym habit, your mentor, whatever it is. It's yours. And the more powerful it makes you, the more it threatens those who can't control it. And people who feel threatened rarely attack directly. They undermine. They call you obsessed. They say you're too intense. They'll joke about your habits. They'll distract you. They'll accidentally sabotage your schedule, all while pretending to help. You thought they'd admire your discipline. But what they really want is for you to lower it. Not because they hate you, but because your consistency reminds them of their chaos. And nothing hurts more than watching someone rise using tools you refuse to pick up. Niccolo Machiavelli understood this deeply. A prince never lacks legitimate reasons to break his promise. Translation: people will justify anything, including sabotaging your growth, if it protects their comfort. And when they can't stop your rise, they'll go for the source. That's why your power must have no address, no label, no exposed origin. Let them think it's natural. Let them assume it's luck. Let them guess it's fake. Let them whisper, "He must be hiding something." Good. Let them guess forever. Because once they understand what gives you strength, they'll try to unplug it. From now on, you don't explain what drives you. You don't share the books, the habits, the code. You live it, but you never label it. Your source is sacred. Keep it encrypted. Don't invite others into the engine room of your evolution. Because some people don't want to understand your discipline, they want to dismantle it. Build in silence. Fortify in silence. Rise in silence. And when they ask how you keep winning, smile. Shrug. Say nothing. Because the more invisible your fuel is, the harder it is to extinguish. The more you explain, the less they respect you. That's the unspoken law. You think you're clarifying. You think you're earning understanding. But every word you add is one step further from power. Because the moment you start explaining, you put yourself on trial. And trials don't end with truth. They end with judgment. You explain why you walked away, why you didn't text back, why you changed, why you stayed silent. And what you're really saying is, please understand me. But you weren't made to be understood. You were made to be undeniable. When you explain yourself, you shift the frame. Now you're not leading, you're defending. And no one respects a man who defends what needs no defense. Your silence could have intimidated them, but your explanation invited their opinion. Now they feel qualified to analyze, question, critique, as if your life is a democracy. Niccolo Machiavelli never explained. He maneuvered. He vanished. He returned stronger. Because he knew that power doesn't exist in visibility. It exists in mystique. People don't follow clarity. They follow gravity. They follow what pulls them in without effort. And mystery pulls harder than logic. Here's the brutal truth: most people don't want to understand you. They want to contain you. And the best way to do that: get you talking. Get you justifying. get you unraveling. Because once you start explaining, you're revealing your thought process. And once they understand how you think they can predict you, control you, dismantle you, you want to protect your aura. Then let them think you're cold. Let them think you're arrogant. Let them think you're distant, detached, ruthless. But never let them decode you. Never let them believe they've figured you out. Because the moment they think they understand you, they stop respecting your distance. You don't need to be liked. You need to be untouchable. From now on, your actions speak. Your absence speaks. Your silence speaks. And your refusal to explain. That's your final line of defense. You don't clarify. You don't defend. You don't justify. Because real power doesn't respond, it simply remains. They don't deserve your truth. Let them sit in confusion. Let them choke on assumption. Let your silence become their obsession. You were never weak. You were just too exposed, too open, too available, too eager to be seen, understood, and accepted by a world that feeds on vulnerability but never truly honors it. And somewhere along the way, you mistook honesty for loyalty, transparency for trust, and being real for being respected. That ends today. This isn't about becoming cold or cruel. It's about becoming whole quietly. The version of you that needs applause, validation, permission. He doesn't survive in this world, but the one who knows how to move without noise, feel without reacting, and build without announcing, that man becomes a force. You don't win by being loud. You win by being unreadable, by turning your life into a vault, unbreakable, untraceable, untouchable. You win by reclaiming every piece of power you once gave away in exchange for approval. So from this point forward, your silence is not a sign of weakness, it's a strategy. Let them wonder, let them doubt, let them talk, because they can't stop what they can't predict. They can't dismantle what they can't access, and they can't defeat a man who owes them nothing. Now, if this message hit home, if you felt like someone just read your journal out loud, drop a comment below that says, "I've taken it all back." Let this be your declaration, your shift, your line in the sand. Save this video. Rewatch it when you start to slip back into over-explaining, over-sharing, over-trusting. And if you're ready to build that cold, calm power that no one sees coming, hit that subscribe button now. This channel isn't about motivation, it's about psychological domination. And we're just getting started. Like the video. Share it with the one friend who overshares too much. And if you're still here, it's because something in you is waking up. Let it. Because from now on, they don't get to know who you are. They only get to feel what you've become.